All right, and we are back again with another one of our DJs. And if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling everyone about the program, or I know for you it's programs that you have, as well as what format they are on, so that they know when to listen and where they can listen.
Well, I am Russ Brauneller,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been around here many years, let's put it that way. Actually, about 10 years. But I was approached one day by the station manager.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me out to lunch, and it was at his home, along with the assistant manager. And I knew there was something up their sleeve. I didn't know really what it was, but eventually they got to the point that they wanted to offer me the Friday night slot
Mm-hmm.
of the Southern Gospel program.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was absolutely not. It really was, because I didn't have any background
Mm-hmm.
in radio. But they knew that I had been and still was singing with a quartet that
Mm-hmm.
my wife and I formed back in '98. So anyway, it probably was about a week later. The Lord just jumped on me and said, "Russ, this is an opportunity to fulfill my uh, command, I guess we would say,
Mm-hmm.
of go forth and spread my word to all nations."
Mm-hmm.
So I had heard that day, that morning, Bill Ramsey
Mm-hmm.
from here at the station talk about fishers of men.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit me like a lead balloon. And so I come over to the station and I said, "Dan, could I talk to you?" That's the station manager, Dan Kaiser. And he said, "Sure." And he said, "Come on, let's go back to the studio and we'll talk." And I said, "Dan, I feel that I made the wrong decision of saying no to you, and so if it's okay, I'll attempt to fulfill the slot on Friday evening." And that's how it all started many years ago.
So, what programs do you? What are your programs? When do they air? And on what format do they air on?
Okay, the first one that I started with about 10 years ago was they asked me to name it, and so along with Joe Emmert, who is affiliated here with the station, we come up with Southern Gospel Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
We both like the name Jubilee, and so we just put Southern Gospel in front of it. So that's how it started. Then, about 5 years ago, the old country boy with the best of country on Saturday morning, I had been filling in for him for maybe 6 months from
Mm-hmm.
time to time. Not every week he would be here or he wouldn't be here. And so finally, once again, Dan Kaiser, the station manager, approached me, "Would you like to take that slot on Saturday morning, 9 to 11?" And I said, "Yes, I would like to attempt it because I like country music as
Mm-hmm.
well as Southern Gospel." And so that's where it all started about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now on Friday night is the Southern Gospel Jubilee, 6:30 to 8:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then Saturday morning from 9 to 11, I have the best of country gospel.
Okay, and that airs on the Music of Our Faith, right?
Yes, it is. The four channels.
Okay. All right, that's amazing. And I personally haven't gotten a chance to tune in yet, but I'm planning on doing it sometime here soon. Just because my schedule doesn't permit for me to be able to listen to the radio during that time. But I'm excited because, as you know, my background is also started in Southern Gospel before, contemporary. So we absolutely love having you here. So, would you mind telling us about your um, kind of your origin story with God? Like if you met him because of how you were raised, or what that looked like for you when you got saved.
Okay, it goes back to when I was a child. My uncle would pick my brother and I up and take us to church. My mother and
Mm-hmm.
dad didn't go. I wasn't sure why. I never really thought about why. But when I was 9 years old, our church over here down the road, not very far from here, Genera, Ohio, we had Mrs. Jacob Glada Jacobs, that was her name.
Mm-hmm.
She came out from Finley and taught our little, very small church about the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And she took 20 of us that was there for that year, that summer. You know how it's so wonderful the way the Bible school is.
Mm-hmm.
And they took us to a church in Finley. And I went to the altar and I couldn't stop crying, sobbing. Went home, just kept crying. It was hit me with a hammer. I was saved that night. My favorite verse out of the Bible of Romans 10:10. If you confess with your mouth
Mm-hmm.
and believe in your heart that the Lord saved his son and brought him back from the dead, you will be saved. The most important verse as far as I'm concerned in the Bible. And so therefore I was saved at age 9.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So would you say that, would you consider that to be your life verse? Or is there another verse that has kind of also guided your life as well that you would share with us?
Well, the one that many people use, and you see at all the sporting events, John 3:16, of
Mm-hmm.
course. No, Romans is, I don't know when really I read that or heard about it, but I'm thinking that sums the entire picture up.
Mm-hmm.
That if you confess with your mouth, that's very important,
Mm-hmm.
and believe in your heart that the Lord saved his son, Jesus, from the dead. Now, this isn't verbatim out of the
Mm-hmm.
Bible. That's my version of
Right.
what it says in
Right.
Romans 10:10.
That's awesome. Romans 10:10. I'm getting all of these new verses that I need to I know that one, but I don't think I know it well enough to be able to quote it correctly.
Oh,
So,
I
definitely
don't think the Lord is going to hold that against you.
That's true. It's been really awesome hearing everybody's different life verses because it's verses that I've been able to add to,
Sure.
you know, I guess what you would call your verse rep, what you have inside of you.
Well, for a while, I attended a Baptist church, and
Mm-hmm.
there they believe that you should memorize all these
Mm-hmm.
verses, and it is good. But I wasn't the best memorizer
Mm-hmm.
at all. But when I would read a verse, it came within my heart. I knew what it was saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I deliver it in that form.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so thank you for sharing all of that with us. Now we come to more of the, I say, personal fun questions. The ones that
Okay.
you didn't know about ahead of time.
Be careful.
Yeah. So, if you had to pick one thing that you would say is your favorite food, what would you say that would be?
Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
See, easy enough answer. Oh, that sounds so good. I like that too. Okay, so here is your last question. And mind you, he didn't know about this question ahead of time. So if it takes him a minute to come up with his answers, that's the reason why. But we love hearing the answers for these on the fly. If you were stranded on a desert island and you weren't allowed to take more than 3 items with you, and those could not include, like, because some people want to take their spouses with them, you can't take a person with you. So it's just 3 inanimate objects. What would those 3 things be you would take with you?
A lighter,
Okay.
a flashlight,
Okay.
because you need warmth, you need to be able to see at night.
Mm-hmm.
As I sat there with my Bible, would be the third.
The third thing. All right. Yep. Everybody's answer is different. I love it. It's great to hear how everybody thinks through the process too. Well, Russ, we just want to thank you so much for volunteering more of your time than what you already do. First of all, we appreciate everything that you do here at the station and the fact that you've been here and put in a lot of time here. We appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for volunteering more of your time by coming in and doing this interview with us so we could get to know you better. And can't wait to hear your program, which will air actually
We
normally
should have aired tonight.
tonight. So again, your programs air on Friday night and Saturday morning, and we can't wait to hear you on those. So thanks so much for coming in.
Very good. Nice being here. Great getting to hear a little more about you, Danielle.
Oh.
You're fairly new with the station.
Yep. Well, we will hopefully talk to you again sometime.
Very good.
All right.